Hello, everybody. Jeff Loos with Structural Building Components Association for another weekly update. It is April 14th, the week of Easter, Holy Week. Congratulations, or I guess happy Easter to everybody that celebrates. We had a little bit of snow here in Montana this past week, if you saw that on the news. So I guess that's just how good our kids are going to have to be this year, that they're going to find Easter eggs and snowbanks. So hopefully good luck to them as well. Tomorrow, Good Friday, we are going to be off. SBCA's offices are going to be closed. So if you do try to reach out to us, don't expect a return call probably until Monday. You will get through probably the Ruby receptionist if you call. If you email, I might answer the emails over the weekend. Some of the others might, but it is a holiday for us. So do expect the communication to be delayed a little bit. Very busy week this week. I had a conversation. Well, no, let me talk about the first thing first. As far as the dues email, we had an email go out just to make sure that we've got the billing contacts properly in our system. That was one thing that we learned last year. Is we converted from our old system with all the contact and information, the database, really into Novi, our association management software, and wanted to make sure that we've got things right for year two now, make sure we've got the correct people in there, the right contacts, not only for billing, but we're also going to be asking questions on surveys. That's one of the most important things we've done. I've talked about it before. Who should be the person at your location that gets that survey? Even if they have to reroute it to, the design department or the production or somebody like that, it's just one of those things that we're trying to look for a single point of contact. So expect several emails in this process until we get the information that we need, just to make sure that we're doing it right. That way we stay on schedule when we send out the dues invoice, when it's collected, and when we're following up too, to make sure that we're not 90, 120 days behind. Wondering if people are going to maintain membership. Obviously, we appreciate your membership. We want you to continue to support SBCA. That is, why we're here, provide value to the members. We're going to be talking a lot about that in the next several weeks and months, of all the things that we are doing and planning to drive member value. But it is one of those things that starts with the dues invoice, and we want to make sure that gets to the right spot and we've got the right information. So hopefully you can get that to the right person. If it's not you that received it, or ask for it within your office, and we get those things updated, make sure that we're doing it properly and right, to where, hopefully it's a seamless process this year. We're looking forward to that. It's always a big deal. One thing about dues, we are not increasing the rates this year. Typically we do it a percentage of gross sales, based by different layers or different levels. And that's one of the things that we've maintained that to be the same. We do ask that you update the level if you've gone up or down, or however that works. Obviously, lumber prices are going to affect that artificially. We do ask you to, look at that level where you're at and be honest and do it on your honor. We're not going to go in and audit it or anything like that, but it is one of those things that we do ask, and it helps the association to make sure that we're representing people as best we can. It's very pragmatic that way, to where we can have the smallest manufacturers as well as the largest manufacturers all within our association, hopefully deriving value from that. And we can continue to do that and make sure that we're representing component manufacturers of all shapes and sizes. Beyond that, one of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit earlier was the scope of work. I had a conversation with a member. He called me yesterday. Good conversation, wanting to talk about, okay, who does the truss designer, where does their responsibility start and stop when they get a set of plans? How far do they look through it? And it's just one of those things that you got to update, you think about. It's something that if you go months or years without even thinking about it, a refresher is nice. Talk to us about that. If you'd like to see a webinar, I think that's a good webinar idea, but again, that's kind of demand driven. We can do that. We do have a summary sheet in our pubs store online that you can buy that. You can buy several of them, hand them out to architects, engineers locally to help them understand what it is that the truss department, truss designer, component manufacturer is supposed to be undertaking with those design responsibilities. Or you could go to TPI. I've got it here, TPI 1, Chapter 2. It's a whole bunch in there. I've got it bookmarked, I think, even from yesterday. But that's one of the things, you can go to their website. I think they've got a read-only document there, but you can also buy that document. Be aware that 22 is probably going to be coming out here shortly, but it's still good reference, good information to have and to know for component manufacturers. And if you haven't looked at it in a while, go back and just take a peek under the hood and familiarize yourself with it once again. Beyond that, another question kind of about BCSI. I've been looking into job site package sales, who's buying them, who's not, kind of wondering, okay, what do our sales look like there? What do we do to continue to improve the number of component manufacturers that are using it? And what I'm finding is, we've got a very good block of people using BCSI job site packages. The whole package, comes in the plastic bag. It's got all the summary sheets in there that we typically include. But then there are a lot of other component manufacturers that are buying just one or two of the summary sheets. I'm curious as to why. What is the thought process there? Is it purely dollars and cents? Is it, you think that's all you need? Trying to get that feedback. So if that is one of you that are doing that, please reach out. Let me know. I'll be reaching out to a number of individuals just asking that question to make sure that what we're offering in the job site package is the best that we can, and to try to understand all perspectives, because that is one of the things that's very important. I've equated it to, the layout and the design drawings are kind of the where it goes, but the job site package is how do they get installed? That's one of the things from how are they delivered on the site? What's the temporary bracing look like? How do they get the first few trusses up there? What's the permanent bracing? What are some other considerations with fall protection? That's all included in the job site package. And that's what we want people on the job site to be able to understand. So we don't have others saying, oh, well, they didn't know how to permanently brace on the job site. That's not what we want. We need to protect our industry, and that's the best way to do it, is make sure that B3 and BCSI job site packages are there as best as possible. So beyond that, another thing I wanted to talk about, kind of going back to that TPI-1 conversation, Jay Jones with TPI is going to be at the next OQM in Williamsburg to give kind of an update on what that project committee has been working on. It's going to be a nice overview just to kind of let everybody know the public comment period is going to be coming up here shortly. And by standard processes, that's weeks or months, but it is probably the next step in that process. And Jay's going to be able to give an update, talk about a few of them that are a little bit more important to component manufacturers and some of the other just normal updates and things going on there. So, check that out. We're looking forward. We've been working on a lot of the committee agendas, meeting with the committee chairs and co-chairs, talking about what we're going to go over at the OQM. And one other thing that probably has not been talked about quite yet, but there is going to be on that Monday morning at Williamsburg a history tour that's going to be led by our president, Gene Frogale. He is a history buff. I am 90% sure that he was a history teacher at one point early on in his career before he got back into the component industry. But he knows a lot about history. He's a great person to talk to about all that. He specifically chose this location based on the history that's around it. And you kind of noticed our themes from New Orleans to Williamsburg to Boston, a lot of historical places that we're going because of that reason. So, if that's one of the things that's getting you off the cuff that you'd like to go register for the OQM, please do that. Registration is still open for the Williamsburg OQM. I think last time I checked earlier this week, we had 102 registrants. So we were up past that 100 level. I think our record's probably 120. I think that was the Miami OQM. We're getting back to where that's within striking distance. I don't know if we'll get there with this one, but I'm thinking between now and Boston, or maybe even Q1 of next year, we'll be back to those levels, which is great considering everything we were at with COVID. So with that, I've gone really long, but I had a lot to talk about. Hopefully you stuck with me through this. If not, maybe jump around and talk about, pick up on a couple of things that we did. So with that, again, happy Easter. Happy Good Friday to everybody who celebrates, and we'll talk to you next week. Until then, peaks up, press on, and have a good one. This little monster was trying to get in on the action too.